Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Bonjour, tout le monde. Je suis très heureux d'être ici. I'm very happy to be here. I would be much more comfortable to be here and to do a juggling act. But, you know, I'm going to speak today. I'm happy to be here because I'm happy to talk to you, people from the social field. I'm very used to talk to circus trainers, circus artists, educational teacher, physical educational teachers, but not so much to social people. And I'm very happy to be here because I really believe that when you take the social field and you take the circus world, I come from the circus world, even if I study social work at university, and you take those two worlds and you bring them closer together, something very innovative can happen. I really believe into this. So I want to be sorry, I may make some mistake with my English. If in any case you don't understand something, please make me a sign, and I'll find a circus way to make me understand, hopefully. So, I have a PowerPoint. I don't know if you could put the PowerPoint on, so you'll have some image, and it's going to be much clearer when I talk and you don't understand to have some image. Just before I start, Cirque du Soleil. You must all know Cirque du Soleil, I guess. It's this big supermarket down the street. No, I'm joking. One of the biggest circus in the world right now. Cirque du Soleil started from a young group of teenagers, young adults, who really believed in creating their own job. They believe in creating their own world. And they really believe in working together as friends, as group, as a troupe, and traveling and make people dream. And that's how Cirque du Soleil started, from a group of young citizens from the community who wanted to make their own job, to express themselves. And they started to do street performance in the city of Quebec and Baie-Saint-Paul. And right away, they had a mission. And the mission was invoke. Well, now you have a square there, you don't see it, but invoke, provoke, and evoke the imagination, senses, and emotion of people around the world. And it started like this: the dream of making people dream. The dream of making people, I'm looking for a word now. When I do this, because I'm searching, the dream of making people dream of forgetting their problems for a half an hour, forgetting their life and everything for half an hour, of dreaming. So they were lucky because they were able to buy a first tent, a first big top, and going into the community and do their show. And today, well, Cirque du Soleil became one of the biggest circus in the world. But we try never to forget where we come from. We try to never forget that soul from those young people who started the company. What is the DNA of Cirque du Soleil? And it's that relation with the community, that desire of making people dream. It's a desire of young people of changing the world. Who want to change the world here? You have a lot of students here. Raise your hand. Yeah, you see? Don't lose that. Getting old, don't lose that. We have to remember that spirit from when we were young and we wanted to change the world, and we're fighting to do this. And we still try to do this with Cirque du Soleil. So quickly, before I go right into the subject, Cirque du Soleil founded in 1984. It's a big company. We have a lot of shows around the world. We had the last show here in Toronto not long ago. It was called Lucia. The next one, the name was just delivered last week. It's called Volta. It's going to come next year here in Toronto. It's more than 50 nationalities in Cirque du Soleil. A lot of different language. It's a little bit like United Nations sometimes in our troupe. And believe me, you all come from the social field. We have a lot of social challenge in Cirque du Soleil, from intercultural challenge sometimes, or other type of challenge. Intercultural challenge are big. Sometimes you have two countries that don't get along so much together. Like, for example, 2 years ago, we had in the same act, a hand-to-hand act. You know, hand-to-hand, it's kind of human pyramids. You have Russian and Ukrainian working in the same act. But it's work out, and that's the magic of circus. They work together. They forget about the problems, and they do it, and they lift each other, and they throw themselves in the air, and they trust each other, and that's the magic of circus. So quickly, when Cirque du Soleil started to make money, because they started to make money at a certain point, when they started to make money, they've decided to give back to the community. And that came from the founders. It was very important for them. They didn't really know what to do at first. But they say, circus was good for us. It must be good for other people. Let's do a circus program for the community. And that's how we started with the Cirque du Monde program. But also, they had the question, what is the social responsibility of the company? And they created a service that is called the citizenship service, where I work for. At citizenship service, we say we want to promote authentic, sustainable, and consistent commitment in the desire to make Cirque du Soleil a responsible agent of change. And in order to achieve this, each division of Cirque must take ownership of social responsibility issue related to its activity and integrate them into its business and management priority. So Cirque du Soleil want to be an agent of change. And what does that mean? It means at the citizenship service, we're not 10 persons working with social responsibility preoccupation. We have 4,000 employees at Cirque du Soleil, and everybody is thinking about that, is thinking about different social responsibility action they can take. So we end up creating 4 pillars, and I could talk for hours on each of them, but I won't, because I want to focus on the last one, because it's the last one that is make more sense probably for you in the social field. But still, 4 pillars: reduce the environmental impact of our operation, which is very important for us, providing an inspiring, healthy, and safe workplace for our employees, making responsible choice in terms of partnership and procurement, which is very important because we're traveling the world in different countries. We have a lot of partners. We need to find partners that have the same sense of social responsibility as us. And then behave like a responsible agent of change in the community. And that's where we create many, many different programs to work in the community, and not only in the markets where we travel, in many places where Cirque du Soleil may never go. So that's how we created the Cirque du Monde program. Oh no, that's not yet the Cirque du Monde program. The citizenship approach, just before I get to the Cirque du Monde program, it's very simple. It's like if we say, if Cirque du Soleil would be a person, what kind of person would it be? It's a simple question. If Cirque du Soleil would be your neighbor, what kind of neighbor would it be? How Cirque du Soleil would interact with his neighborhood. And that's the main question we always ask ourselves. Not only when we travel and we go put a tent someplace in different, it's a little bit like, I come to your door, to your home, I knock at your door, and I say, hello, my name is Emmanuel, can I put my tent in your backyard for 3 months? How I'm gonna interact with the neighbors, with you. And that's the important things. But even when we don't have our tent in the backyard, we still carry on different action in the communities. And that's how we've created the Cirque du Monde program. Cirque du Monde program is the use of circus art for social intervention. It's the use of circus arts for education. It's the use of circus arts at your service, at the service of a social goal. We take a social goal, we try to find specialists, street worker, community worker, psychologist, social worker. We talk with them and we say, do you think circus arts can help you reach your goal faster, maybe, or differently? It's an innovative way of seeing things. If I tell you about social goals, you probably have a lot of social goals in mind because you work in the field, so there's so many issues, there's so many things. But if I tell you circus, maybe we don't have the same understanding of circus. So if I would ask you to close your eyes and to think about circus, what is the first image that would come into your mind? Would it be the clowns? Maybe it would be the clowns. Or maybe it would be the lion and the guy with the lion. That could work pretty well with, street kids, I guess. Maybe it's Nitro Circus, motorcycle, very famous right now with teenagers. But this is circus today. Maybe it's more theatrical, from a Cirque du Soleil show. Maybe when you see this, you think about circus. Hoop dancing from the First Nation. This is from one of our shows. to promote First Nation culture in our show, or Cirque Alphonse from Quebec. This is circus today. Parkour. This is not circus, but it fits into the circus. We can put it into circus, we can use it in the circus. Breakdancing, hand balancing, this is not circus, but it fits into the circus. What I'm saying is circus is not only the circus we have in the book we were reading when we were kids, the fairy circus we have in head. Circus, especially at Cirque du Soleil, but in many modern circus, is the use of art. It's a crossroad between arts, where in our toolbox we can use theater, dance, acrobatic. We can mix skateboarding with juggling. We can mix hip-hop with trapeze. It's liberty. We can use any different form of arts we want to create our show. And it's the same thing when we use it as a tool for social work. So, Cirque du Monde is part of Art for Social Change movement. It's not only about doing a show and talking about thematics, trying to inspire people or talk about a social challenge doing a show. We could do that, and a lot of people are doing it. It's amazing. And we do it sometimes through our program. But in Cirque du Monde, it's the use of one of those tools to respond to a social goal. The theater, the dance, the acrobatic. Cirque du Monde is part of the social circus movement, so there's a lot of different forms. We founded more than 500 organizations around the world doing social circus. Cirque du Monde is just one of the models. There's a lot of them. HIV prevention in South Africa with Zip Zap Circus School. Education in Afghanistan. Gang member prevention in New York. Drug abuse in Montreal. Different type of the use of circus with a social goal. So Cirque du Monde is 21 years old. It's been 21 years that we were doing this. It's a tandem approach, and that's what is very, very important in our model. We work hand to hand with a social specialist. That could be a community worker, social worker, psychologist. We work hand to hand. We work together, reaching a common goal. And that is what is very, very important to understand. And it's based on 7 pillars. So I'm going to pass the 7 pillars quickly. I will try to be quick, but I have so many stories related to those pictures. The first pillar is the safe space. We want to offer a safe space, a safe emotionally and physically. A space where people, and you see it in this picture in Ivory Coast, the teenager, they can come and they can have a break from the street. For an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, the duration of the workshop, they don't have to watch their back. They don't want to have to be scared. They can be there and relax. They can be accepted. It's a place of inclusion. It's a place where they feel safe. They can experiment different things. It's a place when they're going to learn to work together. When they can, and I like this picture. This picture is from Atlanta, from a juvenile center. And they work together. You cannot do this alone. You're going to fall, you know? You don't want to do this alone. But also with the makeup, they watch each other and they see each other in different ways. And that's the space we want to offer them. And working together is a big part of Circus. And I remember when I was working in Drummondville in Quebec, in a small city, we started a program 10 years ago. It was 10 years ago. I don't know, you're more specialist than me. But 10, 15 years ago, when we did a workshop, the youth, they would come 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 4 by 4. They would come in small gangs and small group. And last summer, I went to visit them. And I was waiting at the door outside on the sidewalk, and I was waiting, and I wanted to see how they would arrive. And most of them arrive alone. They arrive 1 by 1, sometimes 2 by 2. And I was like, what is this? And I think loneliness is something, it's a big preoccupation, I think. And working together in Circus, we fight that loneliness. I don't have a big explanation. You could probably tell me an explanation why people came alone like this. It's also a place where people can take risk and learn to evaluate risk. And this is very important, because if you learn to evaluate risk and you transform this in a social skill, in a life skill, you go back home and you can evaluate the risk you're going to take. One night you're going to go out with your friends, you can evaluate how much drink you're going to have, maybe, or you can evaluate all the risks you're going to face in your life, because we always live risk. So learning to evaluate risk and transfer it in your daily life is very, very important. But it's also a place where you can miss. The circus place is a place where you can miss. It's impossible to learn to juggle without making mistake and dropping a ball. The first thing you learn when you want to juggle is not to throw a ball in the air, is to pick up a ball on the floor. And believe me, I used to be a juggler for 20 years. You throw a ball, the first thing you're going to learn is to pick it up. And no, I'm sorry you're laughing, but you can try. You can come on the stage. We can do it. We can do it. And again, when you transfer that to your life, we expect young kids to have only success and good grades. But it's not like this. It's a progression. You have to learn. You can miss things. But you carry on. You take back the balls, and you carry on, and you do it again. Okay. Second pillar, expression and creativity. Very, very important. A place where people can express themselves, but also a place where people can develop creativity as a life skill. Creativity is so important to be developed. I was yesterday coming in the plane, I was reading a magazine. Nothing to do with the conference today and social work. I was reading a magazine, like many people are doing, and I read that for the millennium, all the company, the big corporation, they're looking for people in the future, and the first skills they're looking for is creativity. And I was like, oh, okay. But what do we do to help the kids develop their creativity? Do we really do many things to help them to develop the creativity if it's so important? Well, in Circus, we do it all the time. Circus is all about creativity. Its creativity is also not only for the youth and the kids. It's also for the instructors, the circus teachers, or the social worker. That's you. Using creativity as a tool, seeing problems from different angles. And now this wasn't planned, but I'm going to tell you a little story that comes from this picture, actually. When I arrived there, it was almost 15 years ago, I was sent by Cirque du Soleil to start a project in Africa, in Ivory Coast. And when I arrived there, I was there to train people who would carry on all year long the workshops. And he was teaching with the stick. He had a small stick in the hand, and he was teaching with the small stick. Not beating, the kids, but, it was still like, a little like, And I was a little bit like, I didn't like, I was not very comfortable with it. But in the same time, I couldn't, like the white Canadian guy arriving in Africa telling you how things are working on. No, I cannot do that. So I was like, hey, what I'm going to do? And then at the night, I went at my hotel, if I can say. It wasn't really a hotel, but, I was there. And I was thinking about this, and I said, I cannot take it off without replacing it by another skill or something, because that would be, imposing something. So I thought. So I decided to apply creativity approach to these problems. Creativity mechanism and theory. So I took the sticks and I tried to see the problems from a different angle. Not straight angle, from a different angle. And that's where I've decided, I took a black tape and I taped all the stick in black and both hands in white, and I made a magic stick. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to transform the object. I thought I was very, very intelligent. And the next morning I came at the workshop and I say, hey, everybody come here. I got a magic stick. But they don't have any idea about magic stick in Africa. They look at me like, what do you mean? So I had to explain to them, well, in Canada, we use the magic stick. There's that guy with a hat, and we do magic, and and we can make disappear, abracadabra, we make disappear things. And then I said to people, hey, let's make a circle. And people, they make a circle. Abracadabra, let's break the circle. They break the circle. And we start playing with the stick, and it starts to be fun. And that's a creative approach of changing a problem. The stick stays, but it was transformed into a magic stick. At a certain point, we transform it in flowers, a stick with flowers, and we play with it. So it changed a little bit, and that's the creative approach instructors have to develop. So I have to carry on with duration over time is one of the very, very important pillars we have. It takes time. It's all about progression. It takes time to learn to make a handstand. It's not like overnight. It takes time to change a behavior. It takes time for social change. Duration over time is very important. I'm going to be there every Wednesday in a room to do Circus. Every Wednesday night, I'm going to be there. And even if the kids or the youth, they don't show up, they know I'm going to be there. If they need to show up, they will show up. But I'm going to be there, and this is very important. In this picture, on the left, on your right, there's Osani Gomez. The picture was taken maybe 10 years ago, but Osani started in our program in Recife, Brazil. She was a young girl from a favela. She started as a participant. She became an artist. She said, I don't want to be an artist because social circus is not about being artist. She said, I want to be an instructor. I want to give back. I want to teach the others. She became an instructor. And a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, we started to train her as a trainer. Now she's 35 years old. And when you give training for instructors and community worker, she's the one giving the training. So the young girl from the favela can be in front of a group of 20, 25 person with